The result of 2006 election only gave 7% representation of women. For example, out of 108 senators, there are only 6 women, and there are 43 elected women out of 500 elected members of the National Assembly. There is no women governor or vice-governor of the 11 current provinces of the Republic. Out of 1,411 magistrates, only 164 are women, or 11% of them. Ladies and gentlemen, the DRC has since 10 years a UN peacekeeping mission called MONUC, the biggest international peacekeeping mission in the world. In 2000, the UN Security Council adopted the Resolution 1296 on the protection of civilians in armed conflict. Later in the same year, the UN Security Council adopted the Resolution 1325 on women, peace and security. In 2008 came the Resolution 1820 on sexual violence. 2009, 1888 and 1889 on the implementation and accountability of 1325 and 1820. For the DRC only, the United Nations Security Council has taken and adopted nearly 60 resolutions on sexual violence, conflict resolution, electoral system, peace building, DDR, DDRR, reforms of MONUC mandate and capacity, natural resource, and others. For example, in 2005, the UN Security Council adopted Resolution 1756, recognizing the specific link between illicit exploitation and trade of natural resources and the proliferation of armed trafficking in the DRC. Resolution 1649 and 1698 had asked the DRC group of UN experts to propose measures to prevent illegal exploitation of natural resources, which was financing armed groups in eastern part of the Democratic Republic of Congo. The UN mission in DRC is supporting the security sector reform. The MONUC is involved and has facilitated armed operations such as Kimia 1, Kimia 2, Amani Leo, and other in the eastern part of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Ladies and gentlemen, we can clearly see that the true problem is not lack of law or policy or decision, but is its respect and implementation. We can also clearly see that the United Nations is helping the DRC, but Congolese women have more recommendations to the United Nations on how they can help women. The United Nations need to respond to the DRC crisis and provide support for women's participation and representation in preparation for the 2011 election. The United Nations should provide support to the DRC state institution to ensure that the judiciary from the lowest to the highest level is familiar with the national, regional, and international legal framework signed by the state and its human rights obligations, particularly those of women. The United Nations, within the context of international development, should support the DRC to reform the judicial sector. The United Nations should introduce effective control of arms through an international arms trade treaty. A strong and effective arms trade treaty will support and complement the broader goal of 1325 on women, peace and security, including conflict prevention, conflict management, and post-conflict peace building, with the active involvement and participation of women. In addition, in relation to 1820, an effective arms trade treaty must clearly prohibit international transfer of weapons and ammunition if there is a significant risk of sexual violence and other forms of gender-based violence or serious violation of international human rights law and freedom of civilians, including women. The United Nations mission, MONUC, should consider female ex-combatant as a sizable group. Therefore, big priority has to be given to how to identify and include women in the DDR and DDR process. Women combatant supporters and dependents must to equally benefit from services, cash incentive, healthcare, training, travel, remittance, small grant, or housing support that is available for their male counterparts, men with gun, as part of the DDR package. The UN mission MONUC should have more women peacekeepers in the military personnel. The UN should support non-governmental organizations at the grassroots. The UN mission MONUC and other international and government agencies by renewing effort to resolve continuing issue of coordination of sexual violence question. The international community should collaborate with local authority and NGOs and take a step to improve the reporting and collection of accurate statistics, information and documentation on incidents of sexual violence. The UN should denounce the exploitation of natural resources at the international level as the real cause of war and women rights abuses in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The United Nations should end the war in the DRC to enable the restoration of rule of law. It will guarantee security for all and facilitate education and development in the Democratic Republic of Congo. I will recall here that educate a woman is educate a nation. But if we destroy women, we will destroy the nation and its posterity. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. That was very interesting. Well, thank you very much, all three speakers. Thank you. Very interesting. Right, it's up to you now. Okay. Any questions? Please feel free with any questions at all. And we've got another 20 minutes or so, or even a little bit more even, of questions. Okay, so there you go.
How much has the United Nations helped towards peace in the Republic of Congo? It doesn't seem very much. I don't know. There seems to be so much tragic things happening. We don't hear it on BBC. We hear. I listen to Al Jazeera, and we hear it on that. There was in fact just a program yesterday about the Congo and rape. It's a terrible thing, but it seems that the United Nations hasn't helped the situation. I'm sure they've tried. I don't know what they're up to.
Nina, would you like to respond?
The United Nations is helping because by having this biggest mission in DRC, and the money costs a lot of money, the money costs a lot of money to all the countries that contribute for this money to continue and to be in DRC. As I say in my speech now, that we had in 1998 9 countries fighting in DRC, 9 countries, but today there's no more 9 countries fighting in DRC because MONUC came in 2000. But MONUC is doing the job, but there's still a lot to do. There's still a lot to do. MONUC did actually accompany the DRC through the peace process in 2000, 2001, 2002 at the Congolese dialogue. And MONUC is still working with protagonists on the ground, the FARDC and other forces, to get them to have like a money agreement, the money agreement. We have the Nairobi agreement, and all that are done by MONUC help as well. For example, the disarmament process, they are disarmament process. MONUC is involved in the disarmament process. That's why one of our recommendations was also that to include women in this process. So they are doing something, but there's still more to do, and they need also to change maybe some their strategies of doing things in DRC.
Can I just
sorry, go ahead.
add something? Maybe the largest mission that the UN has ever sent, but we have to remember that the DRC is a huge country. It's bigger than Western Europe, just one country. And it doesn't have the infrastructure that we have in Europe. So that one of the things that was pointed out at the meetings last week in Brussels is that when aid goes for, it doesn't get to the women